Hi, everyone. Welcome to Made to Dream. I'm your host, Maya Chanel, and on this platform, we share stories from women that inspire young girls and women around the world to dream with unlimited possibilities. Today, I have the ultimate pleasure of speaking with Miss Courtney Barrett, and she is here to tell you about her 9 to 5 lifestyle, being a business owner as well, which is out of this world. So I just want to go ahead and allow Courtney to introduce herself and welcome her to the show. Hi, Courtney.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So, how are you doing today?
Doing well. It's been a pretty crazy week because yeah, like you said, I have a 9 to 5, so it's
Mhm.
just as crazy as ever. I work in sales, so it never stops. And I also ran a
Yeah.
challenge in my Facebook group this week. So I went live every single day, and now I'm like, I just feel like I
Wow.
have some time to breathe. But of course, I'm grateful for it all.
Yes, definitely. I know being on social media is definitely a task, so I know.
Yeah.
So, tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so I am a spiritual 9 to 5 coach, which is completely a term that I've made up. But what I do is I help women in 9 to 5s and side hustles manifest more money, fulfillment, and confidence.
Okay. So how are you managing that side hustle or your side business with your 9 to 5 actually? Because that is very interesting.
Yeah, it gets crazy sometimes for sure, but I'm lucky enough to really love both. So it makes it a lot easier to manage. So, really, what I do is I set a pretty clear schedule for myself, usually at the beginning of the week. Like, I always look at what are my top priorities going to be, and, knowing if I can at least just do one thing every single day to move me forward. What is it, Because sometimes we can overload ourselves. I used to be
Hmm.
that person who was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get these 5 things done every single day. And then I wouldn't, and I would be disappointed in myself, right? So now it's like,
Yes.
okay, what are the priorities for the week? When do I realistically see myself doing them? And if I can just
Mhm.
do one single priority every day, what is it? And that has seriously changed everything. It's given me a lot more time to rest and recharge and also be able to
Mhm.
just clearly see what I need to do instead of overloading myself. So for anyone listening who has a 9 to 5 in a
Mhm.
business and you're like, how do I juggle all this stuff? I think even just asking yourself every day, what's that one thing I can do? It makes a huge difference.
Right. Just taking every day a step at a time because I know when I started my businesses, I was working 9 to 5 as well, and I
Mhm.
had to make that balance, make that shift. I was going, to work, and then I would go to the
Yeah.
gym, and then I would come home, have to shower, and I'm like, wow, like now I'm supposed to start at like 9 o'clock.
I know. Oh my gosh. And some days I even do work before work if I have some kind of project. Like this week, I
Uh,
was doing a journal challenge. So, like I just told you, I was going live every evening, but I was also
uh,
sending out the journal questions every morning. So, I would be like up at six
wow.
o'clock before work, doing my thing. But when you really love what you do and you have a solid why, it makes it a
Mhm.
lot easier. I'll say that.
Definitely. I always push people to do something that you're passionate about because
Hmm.
it will be a much more enjoyable experience and you will want to do it instead of feeling like it's a task or a job, you
Yes.
know.
Oh, I love that.
So what pushed you into becoming a spiritual 9 to 5 coach?
Yeah, so what really excited me about this was my own personal transformation. So I felt like for a while I just had no clue what I wanted to do, with my life, as many people will
Mhm.
say. When I was
Right.
in college, I went through 4 different majors and I just kept flip flopping because I just didn't know what direction that I wanted to go in. And when I
Mhm.
graduated, I still didn't know, but I moved to a new city. I started a new job. At the time, I was battling an eating disorder, so I had a lot on my plate, but I just jumped in. And as I'm sure you can tell by what I just said, I wasn't exactly happy. I
Right.
didn't feel fulfilled. Like every day, I would go to work and, wonder if there was more out there. And then every day after work, I went to my therapy. I didn't know what to do with my time. I just felt
Mhm.
like I didn't have much energy and I would like cancel my yoga classes and just, kind of sit there every day after work bored and wondering if there was more for me because I always felt like, there's something inside that I could share. I always, had that kind of feeling that there was more, especially because I was interested in spirituality and personal development, but I just had no idea where to go with it. And that's where I came up with my first business idea for a product. So at the time, I started a personal development spiritual book of the month. There was a subscription box. And, obviously my business has changed since then, but it gave me something so exciting to work on every day after work. It gave me like a passion project, right? And something that I was, pumped about every day, that I was like, oh, I can't wait to do this. Whereas before I would just be, kind of just sitting around feeling sorry for myself, not really knowing, what to do. And that gave me, the business knowledge and experience that now I use in my coaching, because although I have changed directions with my business, at least just getting those first steps and the feet on the ground and that kind of beginning knowledge is what was able to, propel me through when I found the right business idea for me, and things have just moved along so much faster because I already had that background. So for those months as I was growing that business, as well going through my own personal transformation of, overcoming that eating disorder, finding my confidence, finding more fulfillment in life, because one of the things that I always teach my girls now is that, you don't just feel fulfilled when you get to that one certain point, right? When that one goal is achieved, or, you find your big life purpose, because there's purpose to be found in every single thing that you're doing right now. So how can you find that purpose, that gratitude today, and feel fulfilled where you already are? And that's something that I was able to learn and cultivate through, the practices that I'm now lucky enough to teach. So yeah, I guess that's, that's how I got here.
No, that's awesome. So I heard a lot of things in there where you were able to shift your mindset and make a change.
Yes.
So the first one I want to talk about is, I know you said your business started with the subscription box, correct?
Yeah.
How were you able to decipher that, okay, it's time for me to make a change because this is not working, or this is not what I'm necessarily passionate about? How were you able to decipher between that?
Yeah, so honestly, at that time, I was willing to try anything, because I was like, I know that there's more for me. What could it be? I'm just going to dive in. And, obviously, it did take a lot of mindset work to get to that point where I even saw myself as capable of even doing that in the first place. But one thing that really helped me, there's this amazing book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Designing Your Life. And there's this concept in there, I think it's called brain mapping or something, but you write down all these different things that you love and that you're passionate about. And then you kind of like go through and you kind of branch off all like the different like subtopics or anything that could be related to those. And then kind of seeing if you see any trend or commonalities, or piecing together different parts of it that could be really interesting. And that's how I came up with the idea for this box, because some of the things that I was writing down were, reading, personal development, spirituality, crystals, like all of these things that I loved, and, even like social media and getting into like the more business side of things. I put it all together and I was like, oh, I would love to do this. And it just kind of came to me.
And let's see, so from your shift to, just everyday life before you even decided that, oh, I wanted to start a business, how did you have to change your personal branding in a sense?
Like my branding from the product to the coaching?
Just all around personal branding on social media. I know you said that you've had to do these challenges where you've been posting every day or in your Facebook group. How have you had to make a shift in your personal media stance while shifting from, just working a 9 to 5 to actually doing both the 9 to 5 and a business?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of different things that I've tried, but over the last few months is what has really worked and stuck for me. So back when I had my product business, I didn't really know what I was doing with social media, to be completely honest with you. Like I was just posting on Instagram, and I didn't really know anything about, conversions or, call to actions, but I was just trying, if that makes sense. Whereas, when I pivoted into coaching and I realized that was my direction, I actually hired a business coach for myself, because I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this right. I want someone to show me how to do it and not just stumble my way through, because when I
Right.
had this prior business, and I mean, I definitely commend my past self, because I just kind of,
Yeah, you
I just
tried.
dove in, right? And some
Right.
people, will just be too scared to try it. I just went for it,
Hmm.
but really I didn't know what I was doing. So over the last, 6 months or so, I have completely changed everything on social media that I do, and, changed it. And I'd say like the biggest piece that everything comes back to is just providing more value, because I felt like
Hmm.
before on my Instagram, all I was doing was just like showing people the product and, kind of sprinkling in some other pieces here and there. Whereas now everything that I do is it's like based on giving value. It's based on sharing information and,
Hmm.
thinking about what my ideal client wants to hear and what she wants to know.
Definitely.
So what I did is I actually used to have a personal Instagram account, and I had a business Instagram account for the box. And what I decided in becoming a coach, because, that service is so much more personal, is that I was actually just going to post everything on the personal Instagram account and change that into
Hmm.
a business account. And also, make it a place where not only I would talk about my coaching, but I would also show, my life too, because that's part of the transformation. It's part of showing
Right.
my clients what is possible for them. So I just decided to merge everything on there and making it
Hmm.
super value based, also posting a lot more often than I used to. And then I started a Facebook group about a month ago. So it's pretty fresh, but I'm actually really surprised at where it's gone, because within about a month, it's already at around 240 members, which,
Wow.
yeah, I'm really proud of it, because the community in there is so genuine. I found a lot of Facebook groups now, people are just in there to, promo. And sometimes the really big groups can
Right.
kind of get out of hand and stuff can just get wild in there. But this
Definitely.
group has been such a supportive community of each other. Everyone cheers each other on. I do weekly lives in there to have, my audience get to know me. And,
Hmm.
for anyone out there who starts a business, fostering that relationship, being able to show your audience that they can trust you, and that you can become their
Definitely.
go-to person, that you're always there for them, and they feel like they have that personal connection. That's the best way to, warm up leads for you. So I've been loving it.
Hmm.
It's brought a lot more attraction to my business, but it's also just been really fun, right? Like, I love going
Yeah.
in there and connecting with the women. They're all so amazing. And, doing challenges or having freebies is such a great way to grow your Facebook group. And, like
Hmm.
I said, in just a month, like, you don't even know how many people could join the more value that you give, right? So,
Yeah, just adding value and doing things from the kindness of your heart will definitely push you
yeah.
to a different level. When you're
Yes.
doing something and you're just in it for the money, most of the time it really does not work. But if you do it and you're really
Yeah.
genuine about it, then it definitely works
Totally.
most of the time. So, what would you say would be your version of success? Where do you see yourself going from the space you're in now?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing one-to-one private coaching, and really what my goal is to expand a lot beyond that in the future. So to also be running group programs and to have, digital courses and things like that, just having a full product suite, because, right now, I mean, I love the one-to-one coaching. It's such an intimate, special, meaningful coaching relationship, but I definitely want to be able to
Hmm.
scale and serve more women and have, like I said, group programs to also foster community,
Hmm.
but also, more kind of digital content, things like that. And, be able to help more women, especially at, like a lower rate as well, too,
Hmm.
because I know that sometimes coaching can
Yeah,
get
things get
expensive for
expensive.
some, especially if they've never invested in themselves before. But I still want my message to reach a lot more women, especially because I'm so passionate about this mission that I have, and I want it to touch as
Hmm.
many women as possible. So I also am planning a podcast. I'm not too sure when it's going to
Hmm.
launch just yet, but I'm super excited about that. That's why I
Okay.
bought this microphone in the first place. So I'm hoping by the end of 2020 that will be a part of it. But yeah, I mean, really just the vision is to grow and scale the business, help as many women as possible. In terms of project wise, I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't have too many ideas for the future, because I know that they'll come to me in the moment. That's kind of just how
Yeah.
my brain works. But yeah.
So if you had to say there was one person or one thing that it's inspired where you are today in your life, what would that be or who would that be?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a really great question because there's been so many inspiring people along the way, and I feel like the people are really what motivates me because
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it, right? And that's kind of the philosophy I
Mhm.
have with my business. But I'd say some of my biggest inspirations have honestly been my parents. And I know that's a really
Definitely.
cheesy answer. But I feel like
No.
the business that I have, it really reminds me of like the combination of both of them because my dad is pretty entrepreneurial as well. So he has
Mhm.
taught me so much about business and he's he's a big mentor to me. And even though I do have a business coach, he's also kind of like a business coach to me too. Like I always
Right.
go to him
Sometimes you need
and
that outside eyes just to like, be
yeah,
someone other than your parents. I get you. I get you. I have
yeah,
entrepreneur
totally.
parents as well.
And he helps me with the business stuff, but also on like the personal development side, like he's the first one who really introduced me to this whole world. Like I was like
Mhm.
making vision boards with him back when I was 10. Like he was super into The Secret and I think it's so awesome. And
I
he's the
think
one.
we're so alike. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
I
like
had on my wall, my little vision board, I would just post like different
yes.
cars or different lifestyle that I want. I even drew like a whole map of my house. I was
I
like
love it.
8.
Yeah, and no, that stuff's so important. And I have to give him credit for teaching me that so young. And he's the one who first bought me the book Think and Grow Rich, right? Like how many people
Mhm.
can say something like that? And
Right.
like my mom, she isn't entrepreneurial, but she is so service-based in everything she does. She has the
Mhm.
biggest heart. So the two of them have inspired me so, so much. And, you know, having that supportive foundation is just something that even gave me the confidence to see myself as worthy to even start this, right? So I'm
Right.
very grateful.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome to have such great support like that. So if you had to say one last thing that would inspire women to just live their best life and
Yeah,
dream with unlimited possibilities, what would it be?
I would say honestly start before you're ready, because for me I was always waiting for something, and I feel like a lot of women
Mhm.
in my audience I see as well, they always think that there's something else that they have to do before they can start, right? It's like, oh,
Right.
once I do that other course, once I get that other certification, you know when I have more time, when I have more money. And it's like the world needs your voice today, right? And if you know that your
Definitely.
your best life is out there, why wait another day? So even if you
Mhm.
don't feel like you're ready, maybe there's a big fear, just jump in. I've had so many fears in my life that had held me back, and one day I just decided, okay, the fears aren't completely gone, but I know that I'm worth more than them, right? So I'm just going to go for
Mhm.
it, and that's the best advice that I can really give.
That is definitely, you're never going to be ready until you just take that first leap. So just
Yeah.
go for it. Well, Courtney, I thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And I will definitely have everything linked in the description, your bio, your business, anything you want to share with the audience. I would gladly be able to put that on blast for you. Any last words you'd like to say before we close out?
I think the only thing I can say is just start today. I'm sure with that advice we just gave, something probably popped into your mind that you've been wanting to do. What's that one thing that you can do today to start?
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we thank you everyone for tuning in today to Made to Dream. I'm your host, Maya Chanel, and thanks again. See you soon.